Welcome back to Stu Studio, Conservative Takes on Music. This past weekend was America's 250th birthday, so obviously we are talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. On Friday, July 3rd, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift finally got married. It was an up-in-the-air rumor whether or not they were going to get married at Madison Square Garden, but it turns out they did. Taylor allegedly wanted to get married near her Rhode Island beach house, but they couldn't get the beach secure or keep drones from flying over and filming covertly. She allegedly even went as far as to buy out someone else's wedding that was scheduled there that day. But in the end, it just made more sense to get married somewhere inside with secure entrances and exits. Many people were upset about the huge disturbances in the middle of New York City. It caused road closures and redirecting traffic and closed walkways. And this left a lot of people online wondering how much taxpayer money was going toward this wedding. Because paying cops for overtime and security detail and redirecting traffic cost quite a bit. But first, some crazy celebrity happenings at the wedding were that Adam Sandler officiated. I guess that Travis and Adam might have gotten a little bit close while filming Happy Gilmore 2, but I'm sure that Adam was disappointed to be inside Madison Square Garden where no basketball was being played. Stevie Nicks and Paul McCartney performed, including Paul singing I Want to Hold Your Hand for the first time since 1965. 61 years since he had played that song, and he played it for Taylor Swift's wedding. But the internet is calling Taylor a far-right sympathizer for some of the other guests that she had. This would include Patrick and Brittany Mahomes, who are open Trump supporters and conservatives, but they are just her friends. She got close with Brittany while watching Travis play for the Chiefs. Steve Demetrio is apparently the executive chair of the board for Amentum, a company that contracts for ICE facilities and whose son is Steve Demetrio Jr., a Republican representative in Ohio. But Steve is also the adoptive father of one of Travis Kelce's childhood friends and teammates. But Taylor herself told Graham Norton that the only stressful weddings to plan are the small weddings. She was going to have a huge wedding where if she's met you, if she recognizes you at all, you're invited.
No, it's going to be fun to plan. Because I think the only stressful weddings are the ones where you have a small amount and people are on the bubble.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And you have to evaluate or assess your relationship with them.
Yeah.
To see if they should be there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Except apparently this doesn't include Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively for whatever unknown reason. Not that I or anyone else is complaining. But many conservatives are pointing out that since Taylor Swift is liberal, she is supposedly for open borders and fewer cops, while her wedding is on lockdown with a huge police presence. Stop saying this. That's a dumb thing to say. Don't say dumb things. What I want to focus on are the great things this wedding has brought us. This wedding has shown a light on NYPD spending. There was actually a point where the area was overwhelmed and the NYPD decided to just step in and take care of it themselves, including redirecting traffic, supplying more patrol cars. This was due to the high security risk and the massive impact it had on the streets around the area, which obviously did cost taxpayer money. And after the internet got all up in arms about how much taxpayer money was going toward this wedding, it was revealed that Taylor and Travis personally paid $360,000-ish for overtime hours for cops as security, which is not an uncommon thing. My church does it. And the estimated cost for what New York supplied themselves is about $160,000. You might think that that's a big number for like half a second. Like some libs were freaking out about this until they realized that the New York Police Department runs on an annual budget of $6 billion. So whatever deficit the city faces from this wedding is a rounding error. The city won't even know what this costs when they release their numbers in November because they don't itemize things like overtime and extra police presence for private events. So at the very least, this is showing that New York spends a shitload of money and they don't know what they're spending it on. This wedding will also make weddings and marriage cool again. There is something called the Princess Diana effect. Weddings in 1980 cost on average about $3,500. This went up by the mid-80s to about $7,800, more than double. This is because many couples, and specifically many brides, watched the royal wedding of Princess Diana and Prince Charles and thought they kind of want something close to that. It might sound like rising costs is a terrible thing because yes, people do overcharge, especially when they hear the W word, but it also means that people are holding weddings at a higher priority than they did before. A massive market for weddings exploded after the royal wedding, and now people can make a living as a wedding photographer, a wedding planner, coordinator, DJ. Just about anything involved with a wedding you can be successful in. And people tend to spend money on what's important to them, and getting married should be important to you. Hopefully, something like the Princess Diana effect happens with Taylor and Travis's wedding because we desperately need it. According to the Pew Research Center, 12th grade boys are more likely to say that they want to get married someday than 12th grade girls. Says boys are more likely than girls to say they want to get married someday, 74% versus 61%. But this wasn't always the case. In 1993, a larger share of girls, 83%, than boys, 76%, said they wanted to get married. So we need those numbers up. And knowing how much of an impact Taylor Swift has on young women, how much influence she carries, this could cause a huge swing in the right direction. Taylor and Travis even have a chance to save an entire nation that is not having kids at a sustainable replacement rate. Says the share of 12th graders who say they're very likely to want to have kids in this situation has also decreased over this time span, 48% in 2023 versus 64% in 1993. So while the news may be talking about who was at the wedding, what it costs, whether or not it was just a giant Illuminati gathering, whether adrenochrome was served instead of wine, the real impact of this wedding is yet to be seen. And optimistically, I like to think that it will be a huge help for conservative values, like getting and staying married and having kids. Probably wasn't Taylor and Travis's intention, but that will hopefully be the downstream effect. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Stu Studio, and remember, Jesus loves you.